Right. So, hello everyone. Welcome to another session for BASPRG2. Today we will discuss the exercise that was given last week. Then we'll discuss about LinkedList. Then we'll discuss about this upcoming quiz. Right. So before we start, does anyone have any questions or clarification about about the exercise or what you've learned this past few weeks, or at least this past 2 weeks with pointers? No questions? Okay. So if there's no questions, we can discuss yung exercise nyo. So I read this before, where it's a looting mini game. You enter, cost 25 gold. You start with 50, and then these are the loots. And then we have the three, uh, not really functions, but three parts of the exercise where you create a function that generates a random item, create a function for entering the dungeon and does all of this automatically, and then finally the game condition. So what I'm about to show you is one way to do this exercise, because technically there are multiple ways into doing this. You could either use vectors, you could either use pointers, but what I want everyone to at least practice here is dynamic memory, which is using the new operator and the delete operator, because we I want you to master that at least at this in this no in BASPRG2, so that you know when to delete uh the pointers or the memory that not maybe not delete, sorry, but the allocate the memory that you just allocated. Okay, so this is one way into doing it. So let's start. So sabi, you start with 50 gold. Let's go include using namespace std. And then the loot. So the loot, they want me to use his struct. So this is just working in one CPP. There's a way to actually create a different file for this, but let's just do it. Let's do a struct item. What's inside the item? You have the string name and the int gold. Yeah. So there's that. And gold. So okay. Then we have the gold of the player, int player gold is equal to 50. So remember I told you before you can use global variables, but let's be more specific. You can use global variables if you just want to get values. Please don't use global variables when you want to modify values. What does this mean? It's I don't want you guys to have like a int gold. Let's go to 50 here. I don't want this because somewhere in your code you're gonna be calling it in like maybe in a function in the enter dungeon. Somewhere in here you're gonna be like gold minus 25, right? I don't want this. I only want you to use global variables when you have like a constant, meaning you just want to get a value. So in this case, I can have a const int starting gold equal to 50. So this one, I'm just gonna use it here. I am literally just getting it. I am not go. I can't. Well, in this case, I'm not gonna be able to even modify this because we have a const. Okay, so that's all I want you guys to use global variables for. Maybe Well, the proper way here is actually all caps. But anyway, okay? So this is the only way I want you guys to use global variables. Questions about that one? Claro. Because it's not that it's cheating to have just gold here, right? But you're not gonna be able to practice dependencies and such. Because you can easily access this anywhere. I want you guys to be able to practice how we can pass data from somewhere from function to function, etc. Okay, that's all. That's what I want you to practice, especially here in BASPRG2. Why all caps? Well, uh, nothing really specific. It's more of like a syntax kind of thing. You can choose not to, but a good practice, especially for like const, you have it all caps. It's just a syntax kind of thing. It's C++. Technically, you can just make it also starting gold, right? Starting gold. It won't be it's not wrong. It's just that uh, some for some languages you want to follow some certain syntax. Like in C++, you have this syntax of camel case where you start with small and then for every word that you entered here will be the first letter will be caps. This is camel case, right? Or kapag isa lang, they're all small. In C sharp, you'll be learning this later on. It's not camel case, but Pascal case, where it'll be the first letter will be capital when it comes to functions. Okay, but again, it's just a C++ kind of thing, some syntax. Okay, nothing, nothing uh huge naman. Okay. So anyway, so starting gold, what else we have? The duck 25. This one, you can also create this as a constant, like dungeon fee, constant dungeon fee. Pwede naman, pwede namang hindi, because you're just gonna use it within here, no? And then, so yeah, let's do that. So it says here, deduct the player's gold with the dungeon fee. So in this enter dungeon, let's put gold. Int player gold. So that we will deduct here. So player gold minus equals dungeon fee. Continue looting until cursed stone is looted. So there are multiple ways in doing this part. This loot. Some created a global variable, which is medyo okay lang, medyo rin hindi. Why? Well, because if you're gonna try to now this is like medyo from experience na to ah. If you're gonna try to use this same class, we would want sana na kasi what if our designer chooses, oh, in this other dungeon we use this kind of items, in this other dungeon we use this other kind of items. So if you have it just a global, you're not really going to be able to modify it, right? Or if that's the case, parang you're gonna have multiple of these kasi nandito sa global eh. So a good practice is instead of here in the global, either inside here, enter dungeon, which is again medyo restricted ka rin here. Because that means this enter dungeon will only work for this set of items. Does that make sense? Parang ano, kasi yun nga, parang what do you have multiple dungeons and you want different kinds of items, right? So it will work here naman, but a good way is maybe having the array here. Okay. So this array part, you could use vector, pwede, but what's important is how you manage your your memory there. All right. So in my case, I want to use a pointer array. So let's put here item items. Okay. So in here, let's create our item array, which consists of the sleuths. So let's go to that. So we have items is equal to new item. How many? 5. So we have mithril ore. So this part, there again another there are other ways in doing this. One is mano mano. Items 0 dot name is equal to mithril ore. Let me make this bigger. And then items 0 dot gold is equal to 100. And then we're gonna do this for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's one way. Okay lang siya. If you learn more about C++, you'll also find out there are different ways into instantiating all these items, which is like this. So what this does is I will now create all the other items. We have mithril ore, which is 100. Then we have also sharp talon, which is how many? 50. And then we have thick leather, which is 25. Uh, jello, jalopy, I don't know. Jalopy is, sorry, 5. And then cursed stone, which is 0. Okay, so now this items of pointers has these items, this data. So if you access 0, it will be mithril ore. If you access 1, sharp talon, thick leather, etc., etc. Okay? Questions about this one? Can you also make the table outside of main? Like I said, it's okay, but if you try to think way outside of the box, maybe we want to have this enter dungeon work with different items, right? I mean, yeah. Because what if this dungeon has these items? Maybe another dungeon has a different set of items. So that means I want this enter dungeon to be a little bit more dynamic. Pero okay lang. For now, medyo okay lang ako kapag nasa labas. I will accept it, pero not really good practice later on. Okay? Other questions? Ah, okay. So we have all these items. So let's see here. So we have generate random item. So this generate random item. Let's go create that item. Generate, generate random item. And then we have our pointer. So in here, technically this is one of the drawbacks of using these pointers, no? Kasi you can't really say ilan yung laman nito. There's no proper way. Unlike vector you can say vector dot size, no? There's that. This because ito kasi wala eh. So we can do something about that later on. So we have return item. So let's put items para yan. So ano yung element? We can go rand percent 5. Item. Well, we can do this. Ampersand. Ayan. So this will return the pointer for this. Okay? So this is the problem, this 5. Kasi diba, later on, baka there's more than 5 or something. Kaya we could also maybe have like a int size here so that this will be here. So pwede to. This is just thinking very, very far ahead, no? Pero sige, for now, let's just say it's always 5. So that's our generate random item. Oh, let's put this up here. Okay, so that's our generate random item. Let's go enter the dungeon. So sabi niya, we have a multiplier. Int multiplier is equal to 1. Ano ba? Int looted gold is equal to 0. Okay, so we need to keep picking things up unless the player wants to leave. So this is me going like keep looping until the player says no. So later on we'll have like count. Do you want to carry on? Oops. And then if sin, let's put our int choice. Oh, not int. String answer. So if the answer is equal to y or answer is equal to small y, we will carry on. Else if answer is equal to n or answer is equal to small n, we don't want to carry on, we just break. And so if answer is equal to y, we can go like we can also put a while loop here in case it's not y or n. So we can do that also while true also. Wait lang Naisip ko pa. Y and break. True, false. I want to say ends break. Sorry. It's just thinking here. If sige, ito na lang. Mas better to. You just make it loop until the answer with y or answer is equal to y or answer is equal to n, or answer is equal to n. We can break. Just so we can get a real, a correct answer, no? So anyway, if it's true, if it's yes, multiplier plus plus, and break. And then in the end, I want to add player gold plus equals to the looted gold. But sir, paano kung ano? Paano kung na-pick up yung curse stone? So we can put later on, if it's the curse stone, looted gold is equal to 0, so that nothing will happen sa player gold. Player gold plus equals 0 is, just player gold. Okay? So we go to the item. Item picked up item is equal to generate random item. So if the picked up item dot name is arrow not equal to cursed stone, we can do this part. Because if it's cursed stone, you cannot carry on. Dapat matic labas ka. So if it's not cursed stone, looted gold plus equals to picked up item arrow gold. Then we can also put a cap. You picked up a picked up item name. Total looted gold. You can just put looted gold. There. So do you want to carry on? So that's when it is not a curse stone. If it is a curse stone, I want to be like, out. You picked up a picked up item name. I can just say it's curse stone now. You, what happens? What's the actual words for this? You died. You died. You leave the dungeon without the gold. And then looted gold is equal to 0. All right, where are we at? So while true, generate the item. If it is not a curse stone, add it to the looted gold. Ask if they want to carry on. So we want to get the answer. If yes, plus the multiplier. If not, we break out of the loop. This loop. And then we can have here looted gold was added to your gold. Alright, so maybe have a system TLS here. Also a system pos. We can also add this in, maybe just a CLS. right here. Oh, well, here or there, whatever. See, whatever. Okay. So there's the goal. Ah, okay. So while player gold is less than, oh, wait, greater than equal to the fee, and the player gold is less than, how much is this? I need 500. So we can also add here constant um gold 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 in here. So why did I put this here in the while loop? So that if the player exits this, and then after it exits, it'll check this. If the player gold is less than the dungeon fee, this will be false. Mag-exit agad to. Or if the player gold is greater than gold, this will be false. This will break this, and then we can go put the conditions right after. So dungeon, enter dungeon, player gold, and items. Then we can have here, if player gold is less than dungeon fee, that means clout, you do not have enough money. You lose. I could put the else here, or I could put an else if here. Player gold is greater than or equal to gold. Stop. You have reached your goal. You win. So you don't have to put it else unless you want like a check. Like how did this even happen? How even? Because God knows. God knows how this actually broke. Okay? So this is our conditions. If less than dungeon fee, not enough money, you lose. If more than or equal to goal, you win. This may not happen. So are we done here? Not really. Because of this. Remember, each time you have a new, you must have a delete. So delete items. Then you can choose to also have items equal to null if you want. Pwede namang hindi. Okay? So let's try it out. I skipped the intro, so now, actually, you know what? Kulang rin tayo ng ano. How much gold we have. Let's put that here. Current gold. Oops. Current gold is player gold. And then put a tab. Tab. Looted gold is looted gold. And then I want two endouts. There we go. We skipped the introduction. We're just going to go straight to this. You pick up Sharp Talon. Carry on. Yes. I picked up leather. Ay! Kulang ako. Kailangan the multiplier. So, multiplier. Okay, and also our srand. Time srand is so that it becomes random. Yan. Yes. Sharp talon. Uh-huh. 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 I have now 685. No. You have reached your goal. You win. Then let's see if we can move Bruce. Picked up a curse stone, you died. Oh. Curse stone, you died. Hold on. You picked up a curse stone, you died. Oh. Break. Break. Yan. See? Oh, may kulang pala ako. It's the break. Okay. Hello? Ah, there we go. So, pick up curse stone, you died, you leave the dungeon without gold. Your looted gold was added to your gold. You don't have enough money. You lose. So yeah. This is the looted the loot minigame. Gold. Any questions? Was it too hard? Or is there something that medyo nalito kayo? Okay lang kung may nalito kayo. There's a part here that maybe you want some explanation. Sige, while waiting for that, if you want, instead of this, you want a vector, right? Let's do this. Kasi you can use vector naman eh, but you have to know how to use it properly. Item. Oh, sorry. Include vector. Items. 02. Ah. And then items that push back. New item. Does this work? Works. Didn't expect that. So we could just maybe do this. And then thick leather. Oops. And then jello pea. And then cursed stone. So you can do this. But see that we have multiple new? That means we have to delete it later on, no? So kailangan, instead of just delete, because this won't work, you will have to go through each of these items, these elements. So you can have maybe a for int I is equal to 0, I less than items dot size, I plus plus, delete items I. So this will manually delete each. And then, para lang malinis, items.clear. Kasi kahit na-delete mo to, technically, they still have something in these elements. It's just that it's blank. So I can clear it. So there's one way to delete everything. Of course, the other way is the for each loop, which is for item in items. And then delete item. So they should also work the same way. But this is the for each loop. I would say that I had a few problems with the free place, but I was able to solve it. So best for if the table is in main, then using vectors. Um, Technically the best is inside main because this is medyo if you this is more of like a experience kind of thing because what if I want to use this enter dungeon with another set of items? If I had the placed here the vector of items here, and then you have the thing here, right? If I place it here, I this and then we're gonna be using this, no? Item vector. Para di siya nag-error. And that one. If we place it here and we use this one inside here, that means we're only working with this global variable. So why is it a problem? What if later on your designer wants a different set of items for another set of for another dungeon, right? If you do it this way, where in the enter dungeon function in the parameter we add the list of items that we have that we want to use, this becomes very dynamic. This can work for anything except for the curse stone. Curse stone, let's just say curse stone for anywhere is a bad thing, no? All right, but yeah, this it will work for any set of items. So like, what if si designer gusto niya in this other in this other dungeon we have also the titanium ore, which is like 200. For now, because it seems like we're just working in main, but think if you think outside of the box, like really, really outside of the box, you could use this set of functions for a different place, for a different set of items and stuff, instead of having just a global variable here. Okay? But again, I will still consider this naman because you are still starting pa lang. Okay lang. There's nothing wrong. I'm just saying, much better. Okay? And like this, literally, this won't affect your no. This won't affect your grade. All right. I would say that I had a few problems in different places, but I was able to solve it. Yeah, yeah. Uh, it's really putting time into into working on this. And you made up. It's hard to procrastinate, especially when it comes to programming. Sure, you can search up, maybe AI how to do this, how to do that, but it's different when you're actually working on it. Iba yung you know putting in the your effort into it. You learn things. You learn that maybe this isn't the way or something. Mga ganun. Okay. Any more questions or clarification? None. None. Okay. So if there's no more questions or clarification, we can proceed to our next topic, linked list. So this one, uh, people say mahirap, but I will try to make it much more understandable. Question mark. It's you have to like revolve your mind with the concept of this. Okay? Kasi yung next yung quiz, which I'm pretty sure you can see it na, is also using linked list. So try to revolve your mind around this. Medyo madali naman siya. You just have to understand yung basics niya. Okay. Okay, let's go. Okay. So linked list. Linked list is a list that you create where it's linked. The nodes are linked together by having the nodes, know sino yung next, sino yung next, sino yung next, right? So they are linked all together the by each node knowing who is the next, um sino yung next sa list na to, right? Ang arrays kasi, the difference of arrays and linked lists is arrays automatic, mm, andito na yung mga yung mga address niya. It is automatically set by either compile time or whatever on, let's say, kasi do you have to give a size, an int array of 10 elements. It will automatically set all the address for each element. So you can easily access it by using like pointer plus 0, pointer plus 1, pointer plus 2. Well, of course, you can also use the index, as in pointer and then open bracket 0, right? So automatic. Alam na ng program asan yung mga address nito. However, in linked list, it is something you create your own. So you yourself will have to also point where is the uh, next node. You have to point it. So in this case, but I think this part nalilito rin ako when I first studied this back in BASPRG. So imagine this part. Don't mind the head first. Imagine this. This is yung node mo. The node carries the data and then a pointer that points to the next node. Kasi imagine all of this is just a pointer. This is a new pointer, pointer, let's say node asterisk pointer 1 is this, and there's a new node, a new node, new node. So what happens is the node has the data and a pointer that you want to point to the next node. Okay, so that's basically it. It's all connected each other by what you call this is a tail. It's usually called next in the struct. Okay. So that's linked list. You are manually pointing it to the next pointer or the next node. Tapos dito, you'll see here the last node of linked list points to null. So normally a linked list, just a linked list. The end does not point to anything because this is the end. You'll learn later on about the circular linked list, where instead of the end pointing to null, the end will point to all the way to the head start. So that's circular. Pero we won't go through that, I think. Yeah, we won't go through that now. Questions? Does this make sense? I think. So yeah, we'll learn more about these nodes. You'll see how it looks like code-wise. So what's the difference? When it comes to memory structure, the array, the sequential. The addresses are, like you saw a while ago, they're sequential. They are already set by the program and they just go next to each other, like 500, 501, 502. So, din yung address niya. However, in the linked list, it's all spread out. We create the memory through runtime. It's not It's not like arrays, the traditional array where it's created in compile time, which is before you run the program. In a linked list, you create this linked list in runtime. That's why it's spread out. The addresses are everywhere. Hence, that's why we point them we link them together by having a pointer point to the next node, and so on and so forth until it reaches to the end. Kaya nga, magiging null siya. Next, can store collections of objects? Yes. So, in array, you can store int. Also, linked list, you can store int. In arrays, you can also even store a struct. So, same thing with linked list, you can also store struct. Can be dynamically allocated. Both of them are yes. Remember, you can create a pointer, an array of a pointer for an array. The one I showed you a while ago, new int, then open close bracket, right? You can dynamically allocate that. Same thing with linked list, you can do that as well. Well, actually, it's mostly dynamic linked list. Can add or remove new items. So when it comes to arrays, it is not, well, it takes a bit more code when you have to resize your array. So in order for you to resize, not only do you have to delete maybe the pointer of that part, then you'd also have to literally create a new array, a new pointer array with a different size. Kaya nga, requires rebuilding of array. So I'll show you later. But in linked list, you can simply remove things by, let's say, you remove this element 2. If you remove element 2, you can simply just point the tail or the next on the element 1 and point it towards to element 3. That's easy. That's how easy it is. You don't have to rebuild whatever. You literally just point yung previous array to the next array. Next, can be indexed. Yeah, technically you can index a linked list. You can put more data into it. Can sort items. Yeah, you can sort a linked list. I would say medyo matrabaho rin siya. But yeah, well, array rin. Medyo matrabaho rin naman mag-sort sa array. So yeah, you can sort both of them. Questions? Use vectors? Yeah. Yeah. Medyo. But, you're also limited with the functions of vectors. With a linked list where you're the one who created, you can have your own maybe set of stuff. Maybe you want to add more stuff into it. I don't know. Kung gusto mo, kung trip mo, sure, you can do that. But with vector, you are limited to the functions available for vectors. But yeah, I'll also use vectors. But what's the thing? Starting from here until the quiz, you can't use vectors. Okay. So okay, native array. When adding a new item, you see here that, let's say I want to add blue potion. What happens is I have to create a new string of size 4. And then inside inside this variable, the updated items, I have to set the 0, 1, and 2 from items. I have to set it here. And then finally, on the last one, which is updated items 3, I will set the blue potion. And then you delete the items, and then finally, items 0 to updated items. So, matrabaho siya. You had to create a new string of 4 that contains 4 elements. And then you have to set the 0, 1, and 2 on the already created items. So medyo matabaho siya. Of course, make sure you delete the old ones or else delete the items or else you're gonna have a memory leak. Okay? Questions? None. Okay. So let's go to the link list on how it looks like. So first, yeah. I won't show you functions. So anyway, unang-una na sa lahat, you need to create the node. So like we said a while ago, a node should consist data. In this case, let's say I want just int. So int data is equal to 0. And then it should consist the quote unquote tail, or the pointer that will point to the next node. So this is the node. So node must be created dynamically. That's a given. We use the indirection operator, which is the arrow, to easily dereference a node. Yeah. So if you create a new node, yeah, same thing. Node, the asterisk node is equal to new node, and then node data. So this is how you set the data. Ayan. Medyo mabigla to, pero I'll get to it. So linked list is about linking the tail, which is indexed onto the last node. Once we reach the last node, the tail should point to null. So let's work on that. Let's create a new project. Linked list. So what we said, a node should consist of a data. So this data can be an int, it can be a string, it can be float. Kayo bahala. In this case, let's say int data. You can name it anything. Int value, int node value, whatever you choose. But what's important is this tail, which is the next. So this is our node for a linked list. So like what we said a while ago, let me just put using namespace std. So to create a new node, it's the usual thing. Node is equal to new node. And then we can say node arrow data is equal to 10. So here. Now, what if we want to create a linked list of 3 items or 3 elements? So here we technically we must have 3 pointers here. One will be the head. The other will be the current node. What do you put the third? You can choose not to put previews, but if you want, you can. Sige, wag muna tayo maglagay ng previews. No, sige, lagay tayo ng previews. I'll show you why. So, how it starts off, head, current, node, previews. So we try to create 3 elements. This is our first one. Node is equal to new node data equals to that. This will be our head. This will be the very first. So let's put the point here. This will be our very first. So this is 10. Oh my god. 10. All right. So this will now be our head. As of now, si node next, wala pa. Kasi wala pa tayong next node. So what we do, this would now be our current node. Do I want to use current node? Well, technically, yeah, I could use current node. Yeah, I could do this. Current node is equal to new node. Current node data is equal to 10. So right now, since wala pa tayo next, let's say previews is equal to current node. Now we create the next one. Wait, before we do that, head. Head is equal to current node. Kasi siya yung pinakauna. We need this. We need to say this is the very first one. So next, we create the next one. Current node is equal to new node. In here naman, I want current node data is equal to 20. Now, how do we link this node to this node? Since we have previews is the current node, which is this one, I can say previews next is equal to current node. So what did we do? So this is head. This is now previews. And then, oops, wrong one. Next one, we created the 20. This is 20. So how did we link this one? We said previews arrow next, which is this one, is pointing to this pointer. So now whatever the address is here, andito na to. Okay, so we linked it. We linked the first one to the next. Now how about the next one? Well, before we do that, make sure previous is now equals to current node. So we move this one. It is now here. You are now previews. So we have a new one. Current node is equal to new node. Current node data is equal to 30. Again, how did we link it? How do we link it? Since we said previews is equal to current node, which is this one. Previews next is equal to current node. And now we can also put here just for the sake of putting it. So what we did again, we created a new node. Which is 30. And sabi natin, this is current node. This is now current node. Hindi na kasha. You do not fit. Whatever. This is current node. And sabi natin, the previews next is equal to current node. So we literally just pointed this to current node. So that's how we add elements. Does that make sense? It literally is this one. Ayan. Yeah. Gets nyo ba? Yes, no? Question mark? Does this, baka nalito kayo dito sa previous. Tsaka si current node. Oops. So it's like putting values on each node. Something like that. Kasi sure, these are the data, the values that we want. But itong si next, we are pointing the next to the whatever yung kakakuha natin na node. That's what's happening here. So current node, new node, the previous, the previous next, this next is now pointing towards this new one. And then dito, we say the previous is now this one. Okay, if you go here, previous next, which is this one, yung next niya is now pointing towards this node that we just created. And this one, medyo parang wala lang to. So now what we have here is this node pointing to this node, pointing to this node, and this node is not pointing to anything. Right now, it is a null pointer. Yes, kuha. Say now, or else baka mahirapan kayo sa quiz. Kasi this might be confusing. Itong current node is now equal to this. And then previous is equal to current node. Try to read it from top to bottom. Okay, so previous kasi is current node, which is this one. Kaya pagdating dito, previous next is the current node. Current node is this one. Kasi if not current node, technically we can do this. Node 1, and then node 1. We make sure this is head. Previous is now node 1. And then here we now have node 2, node 2. The previous one is node 2. And now this is also node 2. And here we have node 3, node 3. Previous next is equal to node 3. Previous is now node 3. So if you see here, previous was node 1. Kaya dito, technically this is just node 1. Node 1 next is equal to node 2. And dito rin, since we said previous is now equal to node 2, this is technically node 2. Node 2 next is now equal to node 3. Pero bakit pangit nito? Because we are now using multiple variables instead of just one. Okay? Kaya try to use current node. Para mas malinis. Because you should now be seeing a pattern on how to add a node. Questions? Clarification? None? Printing the linked list. So this is why we need the head. This head points to the very first node. And why do we need that? Because you see here, without head, our current node is literally the last one. Our previous is also the last one. So this head points to the very first. So in order to print out this linked list, you just have to say, node, let's say current node 1 is equal to head. So literally we can also just use current node, pero for the sake of just to make it different. While current node next is not equal to null pointer. Meaning, right now si head, ito yung una. If current node next is not equal to null pointer, that is true. This is true because next here is pointing to the second node. Then let's go to the next one. Kapag dito, on our second node is pointing to the third node. So it's still true. But on the last one, since current node, we never set the next of this, it is null pointer. So it should be equal. Null pointer is not equal to null pointer. It's a false. This will break the while loop. So we just have to count current node data, and then current node is equal to current node. Oh, sorry. My bad. I forgot the one. Current node is equal to current node 1 next. So we are saying the current node 1 will be the next one after that. Current node 1 will now be the next one after that, etc. Until current node 1 next is a null pointer. Okay, so if we do that, we play this, 10, 20. We have a problem. Sorry. So, di pala dapat next. Kasi pagdating niya sa third, it didn't print the data anymore because this is already false. So, dapat pala yan. Current node 1 is not equal to null pointer. Sorry. There, 10, 20, 30. Kasi, pagdating niya sa third node, since the next is a null pointer, kasi we never set a next here, current node 1 is now equal to a null pointer. So, pagdating niya dito, null pointer is not equal to null pointer, false. Hence, it breaks. Gets. Kuha. So that's how you access. That's how you access a. There's one way to access the linked list. Gets. Yes. No. Yes. Yes. Adding a new node. So this requires finding a last node. The new node will be connected to the last node, etc. So since this is already created, right? We know the last node is the one where the next is a null pointer. So if you want to add a new one into this, implying na wala tayong current previous anymore, all we have is head. In one way, one thing is we have to know which is the last. Sino yung last na node? So we have a node current node 2 is equal to head while, let's make our new node also. Up here, node, new node is equal to new node. And then new node arrow data is equal to 40. Okay, back to this. You have to get to the very last. While current node 2 is not equal to null pointer, or maybe we can actually do next is not pointer. Is that what they did? No, they didn't. Ah, may last pa. Yeah, that could work also. You can have a node last. Yeah, sure. Pwede. So what this does is last is equal to current node 2 and current node 2 arrow, is equal to current node 2 arrow next. So if you go here, node 1 last is equal to node 1, current node 2 is equal to current node 2 next. So this node 2. So last is equal to node 2, current node 2 is equal to current node 2 next, which is node 3. Last is equal to node 3, current node 2, which is node 3, is equal to node 3 next, which is a null pointer. This will break. Kaya, since we know this is the last one, which is node 3, next, is equal to new node. Now we successfully added the new node to the very last. All we did is we linked the very last node to this new node. Kuha. It says here's naman you can have like null pointer. Pwede naman. Pwede mang hindi. Just so just so we don't mess with this new node anymore. Or you can choose not to. Go. Kayo bala. Questions? Okay. So deleting a node, this requires reconnecting the gaps. So if we delete, let's say node 2, we need to point the node 1, the node 1's next to node 3. So what did he do here? For loop, index remove, yeah. So let's say I want to remove node 2. No, this node 2. Kasi you start with 0. 4 and I is equal to 0. I is less than index to remove. I plus plus. We have node previews. And node to delete. Let's say it is head. So previews is equal to delete arrow is equal to delete next. Okay, so let's go through this. This is the head. Previous is now node 1. To delete is equal to delete next, which is node 2. So this is now node 2. Since index to remove is just 1, we are gonna delete node 2. But first, you have to link. We have to link things. Previews. Next, we have to link this previews to the one after ng i-delete natin. Kaya, to delete next. We linked the, let's say this one. We now have linked, since we know this this thing is pointing towards here. We linked this one based on this, which is now, since it's pointing here also, right? It is now pointing here. So previous next is equal to delete next. So we have successfully removed the to delete in this linked list. We now delete. To delete. Is that how you do it? Yeah, and sure, no pointer. Okay. So we just no, we just pointed this instead of pointing it here. We use this one, which is top, pointing there. So if we try to print this again, let's print this here. Sabi natin index remove is equal to 1, which is node 2. Because we start with 0, 1, 2. Oops. Ah, there's already previews. Yeah, sorry. Previews. What now? No pointer. 10, 20, 30. What happened? 10, 20, 30. Hey, not current mode 1. Head. Oh, sorry. Current node 1. From 10, 20, 30, it is now 10, 30, 40 because we remove index 1. If we try to remove index 2, it should now be 10, 20, 40 since this is index 2. If you said index 0, it should be 20, 30. Never mind. Previews. Right. If you try to remove the 0, you have to now change the head, right? Well, will we talk about this now? Oh, we don't. That's for you to find out. Okay. So what happened was, if we deleted 0, which is the very first element, it doesn't this doesn't cover it. You can have a different code for that. You can have like maybe if index remove is 0, head is now equal to head next, and then delete. You'll find out. You'll find out on your own. Okay, questions? Clarification? I'm assuming we can put all these into a function, so it's modeled. Yes. Yeah. I'm doing this because the PowerPoint said no. I will not show you in the functions because it becomes easier. It becomes way much easier if I create functions. So you have to find it out yourself. Okay. Any other questions? Clarification? None. Okay. Last one. How about SCD vector? Yes, it is way easier to use vector to achieve a dynamic array with less code. But we're here to learn more about pointers, test your skills in it. Hence, we won't be using vectors from here until the quiz. But after the quiz, you can use vectors again. Okay, so it really is just to test your knowledge for linked list. Okay, claro. I feel lost. Okay, where did we feel lost? At what point? Para we can, maybe you're not the only one. Delete. Okay, no. What's this? Adding a new node. I'm not sure. Perhaps deleting a node. Deleting a node. So this one, kasi, it how we delete it is we have to go through each, right? So right now, to delete is equal to head. And if I say I want to remove index 2, we have to get to index 2. So in this, int I is equal to 0, I is less than index to remove. Previous 2 is equal to delete. This is index 0, which is the very first node. And then to delete is equal to delete next, meaning index 1. This node, this one, is to delete is now this one. Next, since it's a for loop, we go back up here. I is equal to 1 now. 1 is less than 2. Yes, so let's go through this again. Previous is equal to delete. To delete, this is, remember, this was index 1 or this one. So that is the previous. The to delete will now be to delete that arrow next, which is this one. This is now to delete. I plus plus 2. 2 less than 2? No. So now we have previous 2 is this node, which is index 1. To delete is this node, which is index 3. Index 2. Kaya what we did here, previous next is equal to delete next. We are trying to remove to delete from this linked list. That's what happened. So the previous one is now pointing to the one after the to delete. Kaya in here, it's literally just parang we try to remove this. It is now pointing towards here instead. So, wala na to. Sure, this is pointing here, but it is now not connected. It is now not connected. It is not connected anymore to the head. The head knows that it will go to the next node. Next node, right? Does that make sense? This one is just for printing. Kuha. Okay lang. Who else is, where else? How about the others? Where are you guys feeling lost? Saan pa kayo nawawala? So we can discuss more. If that, I mean, kung nagets na to. Yung zero doesn't work with this because we have to change things. Head, parang we're trying to delete head. So now we have to change things like where should head be, which is, it should be the next node after head, you know. But anyway. Paano niyo ba? You may be also lost. Maybe other people are lost also. So you can speak up para, or message here. so that we can all discuss it. No, I see, but they're just continuous point to other things. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Technically. Oh, that's why we have here like no next. So they're literally pointing towards the next. They're all linked together by what we call the tail or itong next. They are all linked together by this. Kaya the moment you remove them, kaya dito, the moment you remove them from that next, this is what happened here. Kasi initially this next is pointed towards say to delete. If you want, we can try to show that here. Count previews to next. Previews to let's just show previews to data. And then let's show previews to next. Which is previews to next data. And then let's also show to delete. To delete data. So I'll show you here. Previews to is 30. Previews to next. Something's wrong. Previews to next data. Why are you 30? What? Why are you 30? Previews to next. Hold. Oh, sorry. These numbers here. There we go. So this is 20. Remember the 20? The next one is 30. To delete is 30. Kaya if we do to delete next here, para makita nyo, to delete next, this is to delete next data. There. You'll see 20, previous to next is 30, to delete is 30, to delete next is 40. Kaya what happened was, when he said previous next is equal to delete next, it will jump. It will literally jump out of 30. Hindi na siya 30. It is now pointing to this one, 40. Kaya mawawala na siya sa sa linked list. Technically. Kasi it is not linked to anything anymore. Kaya if you see here, new previews next is previews to next data. Okay, you'll see here, it is now 40. Nag-jump siya. This is worth adding a new index here. No. So this part, new node next is equal to head. You, yeah. Well, initially, I'm guessing this is null pointer. So this will be null. Head is equal to now this one. Head as a node na. Sorry. Adding a new index to 0. Yes. Yes, that works. So if we try to do that here, let's put it down here. Node, new head node is equal to new node. Let's say new head node is data is equal to 0. New head node next is equal to head. Meaning, the next one is pointing towards the head. And of course, head is equal to new head node. And now you have successfully added 0. Yes, so that's correct. Okay. Questions, clarification? Okay. So baka medyo subog na yung utak nyo ngayon. It's okay. That's fine. You can again always just message me if you have questions. No problem at all. Okay. So, kasi may medyo 1 hour 30 minutes na tayo. Which is not a good thing. Usually 1 hour lang dapat. Kasi by after 1 hour, subog na yung utak ng mga students. So, let's just go through this, through... Tama ba to? Yeah. Okay. Brisk lang. It should be kind of fast. So, yung next quiz nyo, this is due next week. So you have 1 week of doing this. Okay? So Night Watch is overwhelmed by White Walkers. Night Watch is not enough to defend the wall. If White Walkers get past the wall, it'll be over for the Seven Kingdoms. Yeah. The wall will only last for 3 days. Oh, wait. This is the one? Yeah, this is the one. Night's Watch decide to seek help from the Seven Kingdoms. They can't afford to send one member to seek help. So, who will they send from the Night Watch? So, the Lord Commander decided to play a game to decide who will call for reinforcement. The key members of the Night Watch arrange themselves in a circle, with the exception of the Lord Commander. The Lord Commander random selects one member in the circle as the starting point. So, in that linked list, dapat random kung sino mauna. So this member is asked to help the cloak of the Night Watch. The member is holding the cloak randomly selects a number, which range is equal to the number of members that are still in the game. Random. So it should be, if there are 3 members, he can only draw 1, 2, or 3. If there are 2 members, 1, 2, etc. Based on the number rolled or selected, the cloak will be passed in a clockwise order. So rolling 5 means the cloak will be passed 5 times. The member who holds the cloak after the fast round will be eliminated. So mawawala siya. So this member moves out of the circle and will stay to defend the wall. The cloak will be passed to the member next to him. So we'll keep on repeating this until 1 is left. Whoever is that one member left will be the one who will seek help. Okay, so So again, randomly start anywhere in that list and then pass it until based on the number of members. Whoever holds it gets removed from that list until one is left. So you must implement it using a circular linked list. It literally is almost the same to linked list, but there is no null. The tail rotates back to the first node, meaning the last one, instead of null, should point to the head. If you do that, it is now a circular linked list. There's no end to that list. Circular linked list doesn't really have a starting point, unlike the usual linked list. So any node can be the head. You can tell that you've iterated over all the nodes if the tail points back to the head. Yeah. So you're required to provide a struct for a node, which is here. This struct must be created dynamically using the new operator. You're not allowed to use a native array or any collection object from C++. So kailangan nyo gumawa ng linked list ng sarili nyo. Remember to deallocate these objects whenever necessary. And so this is the struct here. It literally is this. What you can do is you download it and then you place this in the header. And then make sure you include node. Sorry. Node.h. Dapat. Mat ka rin. Kalaway. Source file. No. Right. Sorry. In here, add an existing item, and then we go all the way to the node. And adds it here. It adjusts the reference, and it should work. Include node. Oh, okay. Not working. Why isn't it working? Import node. So that's it. No way. Why aren't you working now? Define node. Include node H. Maybe close open to make it work. Write functions whenever necessary. For every distinct action, you need to write a new function. Yeah. So, ayan. So, this is the grading. So, try to follow this. Make sure you don't use any array or whatever other collection object sa C++. Use your own linked list, a circular linked list. Okay, questions? Where would we still get the recording of this? Yes, perhaps we need to look back for examples. Yes, you can. It is recorded. You can watch this again naman. Also, you can get the demo file in here. It literally is. It's just this one. Nandito din siya. If you need a copy. Okay. Other questions? Clarification? I'll try to fix this. Why didn't you work? No questions? None? Okay. So if there are no other questions, yeah, that's it for today. Again, if you are struggling with the quiz, you can always just message me. I will reply back. Okay. Of course, I won't give you the straight out answer, but I will help you as best as I can. All right. So, yeah, that's it for today. Again, message me if you have any problems. But yeah, that's it. You guys can go and enjoy your